Good.
That was a fresh movie. That movie was
Yeah,
what's up.
whenever he's like, she saw you dance.
Yeah,
Yeah, I cry every time I watch that. That's the thing is he knew how to take these big ideas but put them into these really intimate situations where it was really more about the characters who had actual inner lives, but they were also these perfectly constructed puzzle boxes that would always sort of like lay out. And even up through Signs, I would say I don't have a problem. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Signs is great up to the last 15 minutes." I love the
it's
last
like
15
I was like,
minutes.
oh, why would they come to a planet full of water? And like, well, because
Why did we go to the moon?
they show up like, okay, well, for sure, like 3/4 of it is covered in water, but the other fourth, like, we can definitely use.
They went to a place covered that was landlocked. I'm assuming. I mean, it's farm country. It's it's not close to water, so I think they would figure they're pretty safe there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a problem with the end of that movie. I think it's a really beautiful meditation on faith and the idea that there is something out there, but it's too big for us to understand except in small, perfect moments.
Yeah. But Unbreakable gets a lot of flack too. It's too slow. People say
It is.
it's deliberate.
Yeah, it's deliberate. It's not the fastest paced movie, and I think it's a hard one to watch over and over and over again. But in its first couple of viewings, you shouldn't. That's one thing I've gotten over as I get older, which is a shame because I own so many of them. Is the idea that I have to watch a movie a lot of times. Mm-hmm. Instead, it's like I'll watch it once and then I'll wait a couple of years and watch it again because they wear out like a song. You play a song 100 times, you're pretty much done with that song at least for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Unbreakable in a minute, but I kind of want. If you have it, I want to borrow it.
I've got the Blu-ray.
Oh, you dick! You unthinkable dick! I'll go and buy it for like $5.
Yeah, we can go to movie trading company after this.
But man, that scene when the kid knows, like this, like reads the paper and he's like, "This is you," and like he doesn't say anything. He just puts his finger up to his mouth, like like keep it a secret.
And the kid's crying again. It's one of those great moments.
But and there's also that scene where. He's lifting weights and his son's helping. Like he's like, well, yeah, he's like, well, shit, like like I guess like because he goes and picks him up from school because he got into a fight because those guys were picking on that girl and he stuck up for her.
Because the kid's there whenever Sam Jackson is like, I think you're a superhero.
Yeah.
So the kid's trying to push him into like, well, what can we do?
And well, then it's kind of like he's like, well, I guess like he's kind of annoyed that he has to watch his kid.
Right.
And he's like, I guess you can help me like work out. And then he like starts putting more weight on and more weight on, and then he's like, "How much did you put on?" He's like, "All of it." And then he's like, "What else can we use?"
The paint cans are duct taped, and every time they add more weight, there's this great visual gag where the kid is further and further out of the room, so that by the time they put on the paint cans, he's at the top of the stairs in the basement.
Like what? Like it's like what's gonna happen? Like his dad's gonna blow up or something? I don't know. Great movie.
Bruce Willis, man.
Bruce the Moose.
Whenever he's on fire, he's pretty perfect.
What was after Unbreakable?
Signs.
And
then things kind of The Village is a misstep. I think
was The Village then Lady in the Water?
Yes.
Lady in the Water. People hate that movie.
I think people hate it. Yeah, jumping ahead from The Village, I think people hate Lady in the Water for one main reason, and I think the main reason is because Shyamalan cast himself as the Messiah character.
Yeah,
which is kind of obnoxious.
And there's that movie critic character as well.
Yes, that's right. So that he's killing a movie critics and being like, "Oh, you don't get my work." It's basically this really neat story wrapped up in this baby throwing a temper tantrum.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it. Yeah, for sure. Because I thought the scenes between old Ron Howard's baby girl and your doppelganger Paul Giamatti, I thought those scenes were awesome, especially. When he's talking about when he's like apologizing to his wife.
He's trying to. It turns out he's the healer.
Yeah,
he thinks he's the guardian, but he's the healer, and he's holding her, and he starts talking to his family. Yeah, and he starts crying, and he's finally
like, "I'm so sorry, I wasn't there."
Yeah. Oh God, I'm gonna watch that again.
We should watch that too. Why not?
Why not? I do have the DVD of that if you want to borrow it.
But The Village, Village had its
It's got again. The Village has great moments.
It does.
Like that. There's that amazing moment where Bryce Dallas Howard is she's blind. She's standing on the porch with her hand out, and the monster is about to grab her. And the sound's dropped out. It's all just music. And Joaquin Phoenix grabs her hand, and the camera kind of goes with their hands as they run and get into the basement. And
she has her hand out, like
he's gonna come.
She's like waiting for him.
Right. and he comes. Yeah. And I think the problem with the village is twofold.
It's put together incorrectly.
It gives away. Well, first of all, there are two twists.
Yeah.
Well, they twist it. They're like, "Oh, the monsters aren't real," and then they try to twist it back and say, like, "Oh, no, they are.
They totally are real."
And then they also have the twist of, "Oh, the village is like." You should have picked one or the other.
Yeah.
I mean, and revealing that the monsters aren't real that early in the film, like they should have waited until you see it's Adrian Brody in the suit.
Once like he falls into that pit or whatever. And you see that it's him, and he's like, dying.
Right.
You're like, whoa, what's going on? Then maybe they cut back to like, I mean, they could have revealed. It could have been like William Hurt, like the dad revealing to his daughter, like, hey, they're not actually real.
Right.
Like they could have just done a flashback to that.
Yeah, they could, or they could have. Well, what happens in the film when you see her actually go over the wall? Is there is actually a moment where you see each of the founding members of the village, the elders, they all have that box in the corner, and you see each of them going to the box and opening it, and there's a photo of them in modern times, and there's the voiceover of each of them saying, like, they've all suffered some horrible loss or something bad has happened, and you hear William Hurt saying, I have an idea. And you could just start it there and then like just keep rolling the way the end of Unbreakable does. So you can have both twists, but you have it all rolled into one moment instead of it's like in The Sixth Sense that Bruce Willis found out he was a ghost 45 minutes before the end of the movie. Like the movie doesn't work that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Like for the release to happen.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. If you haven't seen The Sixth Sense, you're not enough of a nerd.
Yeah, like turn this podcast off
and go watch it. And you know what? I knew the twist before I saw the movie, and I
figured it out.
I didn't. My sister flat out told me, she was like, do you know that in this movie Bruce Willis is a ghost the whole time? And I was like, fuck you! Like, I haven't even seen it.
Someone's like, I kept reading about, like, oh, it's a twist you'll never believe, blah, blah, and like...
So it builds it, so you're expecting
reading about the plot, I'm like, I bet that motherfucker is the ghost the whole time.
Right.
And so, but I saw it, and I was like, awesome. Well, then it was also spoiled for me in drama class.
Exactly. Yeah, because kids were seeing it. It came out like right at the beginning of our school year.
Well, I hadn't seen it. I think I saw it like on video.
I didn't see it till video
or DVD.
And even at the time, I was like, "Oh, that was pretty good." But then once I saw Unbreakable, I was like, "Wait, let me back up and watch this one again." And I was like, "Holy shit! I did not see how good this was."
Lady in the Water gets a lot of hate.
I think it's another one that's flawed, but I don't think either of those are out and out bad movies. I think they're missteps, and that they're problematic because they're indicative of an ego that's sort of growing out of control in terms of not so much the village, but definitely, and the twists are getting lazier.
Yeah.
Like there's
well, the village didn't have a twist. Well, I mean, except that like he was the healer, but I mean that wasn't so much.
You mean Lady in the Water?
Lady in the Water.
Yeah. The Lady in the Water didn't have a twist.
Yeah,
that's
true.
That he wasn't. That was Reggie was the guardian.
Yeah, that was just a
surprise.
Yeah, then they
it doesn't flip the meaning of the story.
Yeah, exactly. They just they couldn't. They had it. They turned around. They had it flipped around. Was it The Happening after that?
Yeah,
I didn't even bother seeing that. Fucking Marky Mark in anything.
You don't like him?
Except for The Departed.
He was great in The Fighter.
Yeah, in The Fighter.
But he's not really having to act too much in The Fighter. Like he's really good at playing nice guys who are kind of simple.
Yeah.
Like that's what he's best at. And I think he's a pretty good comedic actor too. I really liked him in The Other Guys, and I haven't seen all of it, but I really liked what I saw of Ted. I thought he was really funny in that.
I don't support Seth MacFarlane.
You don't anymore?
No, he's kind of a misogynist and a homophobe.
He definitely is. He definitely is. And Family Guy is a misogynistic show, and it bums me out how popular that show is.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
And how hateful it is. Like, if people could be like, "Oh yeah, Simpsons, Family Guy," it's not even the same brand.
South Park, yeah, like no,
Simpsons and South Park, yes, you can put those on a pedestal. They're great shows.
Yeah, like The Simpsons at its best is better than almost anything, any TV show ever.
Yep, pretty much. Any sitcom.
Yeah, like you take like seasons 3 through like 8 of The Simpsons, especially like 3, 4, and 5, even 6.
6, yeah, 3 through 6. I would say you can stack that up against pretty much
anything, and it's top 3, maybe even the best.
Yeah.
Family Guy,
no. Family Guy has great jokes every now and then, but it's not worth the trade-off in terms of how mean.
Yeah, like how awful I feel after watching it.
Like South Park is mean, but it's mean and incisive.
Yeah, it's a satire.
It's actually got something to say. And well, I mean, everything is saying something, whether it tries to or not. And what Family Guy is saying is so much uglier.
Yeah.
Like, you can say, like, oh, yeah, it's all in good fun, but that only takes you so far. Like, it's not actually satire. You're not making fun of the fact that Peter is a misogynist. You are celebrating it. So, anyway, that was Shyamalan. But, The Happening, I went to go see... We
never bothered seeing it.
Daryl and I went to see it while you and...
I was too busy having sex.
You were having sex.
Literally.
We were in Austin. We were visiting your then girlfriend, and you were having sex, and Daryl and I were like, well, now what do we do? And we thought you wanted us gone the whole night. I think you wanted us gone for 30 minutes.
No, I mean, we're making it sound like, or I'm making it sound like, I was too busy boning down, dude. Too busy knee deep in puss. My girlfriend lived out of town, and
we had all gone to visit her.
And I was seeing her for like the first time in, I don't know, like a month or two.
Right.
And so, like, yeah,
he was like, "Do you want to not be here for a little bit?
Can you guys leave?"
So Daryl and I went to see The Happening, and we both walked out of it like, it wasn't that bad. But as the days kind of wore on, it was like, no, it was.
I watched a clip of it, and I'm like, no,
it's very bad.
Like a little black boy is shot in the face.
Oh, I forgot about that.
But, like...
John Leguizamo's in it for, like, no good reain. Like he's got a dramatic role, but he doesn't have anything to do.
Marky Mark, like, they go to a house, and they know that there are people in there. They can hear him, I guess.
Right.
And he's like, let us in, okay? Like, listen to my voice. We're all fine. Can you hear us? Let us in, all right? And then, like, one of the people inside, like, pulls, like, a gun through a hole and, like, shoots a little kid in the fucking face.
Yeah. Well, he was trying to go for, like, a rated R sort of Pan's Labyrinth, like, dark fantasy thing, but it's just bad. They're I hate to use the word because it's so overused right now. They're literally running from the wind in this movie because the wind is blowing the bad stuff that turns the plants against you or whatever.
All right.
They have to run from the wind.
All right.
And Zooey Deschanel's in the movie, and you can see in every scene she's like, why am I here? Like, she's completely miscast, and every line the subtext is, what am I doing here?
Like, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah, I should not be in this movie.
I should be in Elf too. And then Last Airbender, which flopped.
I didn't. No, it actually.
Well,
didn't.
no,
made money,
which I heard sucked.
I heard it was one of the worst movies ever made.
But it made a lot of money.
I never even saw it.
I think just because kids love the cartoon,
right?
And they went and watched.
Yeah,
it.
well, kids like all kinds of awful.
Yeah,
movies.
they love the most awful.
Well, they don't know.
Yeah, they don't know.
They have no taste.
Was that his last one?
That was the last one.
And he wanted to do Life of Pi.
Yes, and that. I saw Life of Pi, and I'm glad he didn't do it because it's another, without giving too much away, it's another story that has a big twist at the end. So I'm just like...
Is he the tiger? Is the tiger's
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so he's on the boat with a tiger, but there are other animals on the boat with the tiger that somehow all end up on this lifeboat together. And the tiger, one by one, kind of picks them off. And he sort of finds a way to survive on the boat with the tiger. So it's this whole metaphor of he comes to an understanding. Like, he makes a little side boat that he's out on, and the tiger's on this boat, but he starts feeding it, and they sort of have this... But then at the end of the story, he's on a cruise with his parents to, I think, America. Maybe it's England. I can't remember. Not a cruise. It's a... They've booked passage on this ship, and
they're refugees. I'm sorry.
No, they own a zoo. They bought a zoo.
They Matt Damoned it.
Yeah, they Matt Damoned it. But so all the animals are going with them. I guess they're opening in America or wherever. I can't remember what the setup is. But the boat encounters some turbulence or whatever. It goes down, and like the monkey, the zebra, and the tiger and the kid all end up on the boat.
This fucking sounds bananas.
It is. And
go on.
No, like 3/4 of the way through the movie, I was kind of just like, fuck this. But, and the framing device is this reporter has been told, go talk to this man, ask him to tell you a story, and you will leave believing in God. So this is the grown-up version of the kid in the boat telling the story to the reporter. And the twist at the end is that none of those animals were there. It was him. He was there, and the animals were all stand-ins for people on the boat. And the tiger was the cook on the boat, who only appears in one scene early in the movie, who was killing off and eating like his mother and 2 other crew members. And he held this man at bay until they washed ashore someplace and he got away from him. And that he was always sort of fanciful and, as a kid and everything, so that he made up this story to deal with the trauma.
Compartmentalize everything.
Exactly, and at the end...
I was going to say carpet demonize.
Yeah, of course. Sees the dead family members. So, I mean, like...
It's kind of dope, actually.
It is, but the way the movie does it is so smarmy and self-satisfied. It's like, look what an important spiritual lesson we've taught you.
I'm
and
angry.